You're not supposed to know this, but let's dive into the dark, creepy, and mind-bending secrets behind this.
They tried to erase Maple Hollow.
You're not supposed to know this place exists. No modern map references it. No GPS database recognizes it.
We found the tunnels they hid. If you ask local authorities about it, they pretend they've never even heard the name. But Maple Hollow did exist once. And the more we dug into this forgotten corner of America, the more the truth felt less like history and more like a nightmare someone tried desperately to bury.
If you're new here, hit that subscribe button, because tonight's investigation may be the most dangerous one we've ever done.
Tonight, we're taking you inside a story that the United States government erased on purpose. A story about a small town that vanished overnight, strange lights deep in the forest, and the secret tunnels hidden beneath Maple Hollow that hold the terrifying truth behind the disappearance of every single resident. What we found under that town wasn't human, and it wasn't sleeping. Not anymore. Some places are best left forgotten. Maple Hollow sits at the top of that list. You won't find in travel guides or local legends. Nothing. It's a ghost, wiped clean so thoroughly that even the digital age can't resurrect it. But the story didn't start with the town. It started with the lights. People hiking in those woods, people who should have known better, reported faint, pulsing glows filtering through the trees at night. Lights that flickered like slow heartbeats. Blue-green, unnatural, steady calling. We didn't believe it at first. Strange lights in the woods could be anything, a prank, an animal, some weird atmospheric reflection. But the more we looked, the more those reports lined up with something disturbing. Every sighting occurred in the same remote patch of forest. A patch that, in archived maps from the 1950s, was labeled Maple Hollow. A town of 312 residents. A town that vanished in the fall of 1958. A town whose records were erased so thoroughly, it was as if the earth swallowed it whole and someone cleaned up afterward. We had to see it for ourselves, and we had no idea what we were walking into. Every investigation starts with what you can find, so we began online, digital maps, databases, public records, satellite images. Nothing. Not a mention. Not a stray reference. Maple Hollow wasn't abandoned. It was erased. That word stuck with us as we kept searching erased. Because things don't simply vanish from history. Not without someone making them vanish. So we went old school. We drove across state lines, sifted through microfiche machines older than our parents, cracked open dusty county ledgers that smelled like decaying wood. After weeks of dead ends, we finally found the first crack in the silence. In a 1950 census binder, faded, fraying, untouched for decades, we saw it, Maple Hollow, population 312. But in the corresponding 1960 binder, the page for that district wasn't blank. It was physically missing, cut out with precision. That wasn't an error. That was deliberate. We kept searching and found more. In a stack of regional maps from the 1950s, the 1955 edition clearly showed the town. The 1959 reprint, identical in style and layout, had no trace of it. The town vanished between printings. Not faded, not renamed. Erased. Holding the two maps side by side was chilling. It was the moment we realized this wasn't a ghost story. It was a cover-up. And the United States has had its share of cover-ups. But removing an entire town? That was something else. The old maps showed a network of back roads, dirt trails and logging paths that didn't appear on any modern GPS. Those roads became our only way in. When we turned onto them, everything felt different. The deeper we drove into the woods, the more the modern world seemed to fall away. Pavement turned to gravel, gravel turned to dirt, and eventually the road narrowed so much that branches scraped both sides of the truck. GPS lost signal. The compass app glitched. We were navigating using a fragile, stained paper map from 1955. We drove for hours until we finally broke through the tree line and saw what remained of Maple Hollow. The silence hit us first. Not peaceful silence. Oppressive silence. Heavy and unnatural. No wind, no birds, no insects, nothing. It felt like the entire ecosystem was avoiding this place. The town stood exactly as it did in 1958. Houses intact, weathered but untouched. No graffiti, no vandalism, no signs of scavengers. It was as if someone placed a glass dome over it for 70 years. We walked down what used to be Main Street. Doors hung slightly open. Inside the homes, time had frozen mid-motion. Tables still set, dishes arranged, food fossilized in place. A pair of reading glasses beside a newspaper dated October 18th, 1958. In another home, laundry still hung from a wooden rack, stiff and preserved with age. There were no signs of struggle, no broken windows, no overturned chairs, no traces of evacuation or panic. Just the unmistakable feeling that life had paused in an instant. The dread grew with every house we entered. At some point, we both realized the same thing. Whatever happened to Maple Hollow, it didn't happen on the surface. It happened underneath. As the sun dipped and shadows stretched across the ghost town, that's when we saw the light. A faint, pulsing blue-green glow behind the old town hall. The same light reported by hikers. The same glow that brought us here. It wasn't coming from above. It was seeping up through the soil, between tangled roots and cracked earth. We pushed aside brush, scraped away the dirt, and uncovered a steel hatch. Not from the 1950s. This was reinforced, industrial-grade steel, more like something from a Cold War bunker. Someone had sealed something down there, and someone else had hidden it. It took both of us straining with everything we had to force the hatch open. It groaned loud enough to echo across the empty town. Cold air blasted out, carrying the smell of something ancient. Older than concrete, older than Maple Hollow itself. A narrow concrete stairway plunged into darkness. And beneath the cold, we heard it, a low, vibrating hum. It didn't sound like machinery. It felt alive, pressing against your teeth, crawling into your ears. The lights weren't coming from the town. They were coming from whatever lived under it. We grabbed our gear, looked at each other, and stepped into the dark.